If you're in a service business like a marketing agency and you want to stay ahead of the game, you need to start charging high ticket. And in this video, I'll explain to you why charging high ticket or premium is the only way for a service-based business to scale and grow, and some of the challenges that I faced when I first transitioned to charging a premium, and how you can actually get people to see your value and pay you a premium price because you want to make more money and you want to be more profitable. And ultimately, if you are more profitable, you have more resources to serve your client. So it's not just always about making more money for yourself, but if you really want to create a damn good product, you have to make sure that you have the profit margin to consistently innovate. So before I started my agency, where right now we are charging between 50K to 100K just for setup fee, and then that doesn't include usually some kind of retainer plus some kind of profit split, which means that it usually costs more than 6 figures to work with us. And we only work with a handful of people a year. Today, we have a pretty good reputation in the market. People know us as someone that can get results, and that's the reason why they are willing to pay us such a big amount just to work with us upfront. But before I started, I do want to share a quick story that you can't just go into the market on your first day and start charging 100K. Not unless you're already very experienced. Maybe you just left a big MNC company, you had 20 years of experience in a particular industry or market. But if you're just starting out, like me, you have to start building a portfolio, because when you are nobody yet and you are asking people to hire you or to trust you, you're basically asking people to take a risk. And why would someone want to take a huge risk on you when the upside is not there for them? So when you first start out, you got to make sure that you make it risk-free for them, okay? And the way I make it risk-free for many of my clients so that I can build a reputation and portfolio was to essentially charge for a very cheap price or even free. So when I first started out, I actually went to a lot of market leaders. I look at their marketing campaigns, their advertising, and I give them free value on what they can do to improve their campaign. But I also went to propose to them that if they work with me for the next 6 months or 1 year, I could actually help them to double or triple, maybe even 10x their revenue. And I would do it for free or at a cost price, okay? I essentially make it risk-free for them, okay? And many of them, I was able to even create some kind of profit split deal. And it really wasn't about the profit, because the profit split deal wasn't a lot anyway, but it was for me to, again, build a portfolio. So that's what you want to do at the beginning. I did that at the start. I think one of the reasons why I was able to be ahead of many of my competitors was because for the first 2 to 3 years, I really focused on just building portfolio and sacrificed a lot of short-term gains for long-term. So that's another story for another time, but there's a lesson there. And one of the main lessons is that because I didn't need a lot of money. I wasn't in a rush to buy a Lamborghini. I wasn't in a rush to buy a big house. All these material stuff, branded goods, the high lifestyle, I try to keep my lifestyle as low as possible so that I could really sacrifice the need for me to really get all this money so I could show like I'm doing well in life and really just focus on building long-term relationship and long-term trust with people. So that's another lesson, right? You want to keep your lifestyle low so that you could literally take time to build portfolio. And this is the part that people don't want to hear, right? They want to start charging money right now. They don't want to start being profitable right now. And a lot of times for the wrong reason. Okay, so I first started out first 2 to 3 years, just really building portfolio and really gaining experience. And I started to increase my price. So I started to increase, and I was charging back then about only 1,000 or 2,000 a month. And I started to feel very drained because I was getting clients, I was getting profitable already because at least I'm starting to charge money. But it was very draining because of the quality of clients I was getting. Back then, I didn't understood that there's different market segment for everything. And when you go for $1,000 to $2,000 per month kind of clients, they are generally the clients that will give you a lot of problem. They will want a lot of things, overly demanding, and they want it cheap. Yeah, at the same time, it's never enough. It can never please them. There are so many of our clients that we have helped them generate so much more in return, 100x in return based on how much they paid us, but it's never enough for them. Okay, so I felt really drained by this kind of client quality. So I decided that I wanted to start going into high ticket. And back then, this is the first time I started hearing about charging high ticket from my mentor back then, and how charging a premium is the way to go, especially for service business. And one of the reasons is because if you are in service business, you are exchanging time for money. Okay, essentially the business model is exchanging time for money. And even if you are going to hire people, you're still going to trade other people's time for money. And so it's much harder to scale because time is a very limited resource. So the only way you can be more profitable is to ensure that you extract the maximum amount of value and price for every single hour that you put in. Then it can become a very good, profitable cash flow business. I started to explore going for high ticket, and I started to pitch a 50K deal. So 30 to 50K setup fee to work with us. Now, initially when I first did that, it felt very off because I was only doing for 1,000, 2,000. Now I'm going for a much higher price point. And when I first did that, I actually faced a lot of negative feedback. And that led to a lot of self-doubt. When I first started pitching the 50K deal, because I was still hanging around with that quality of prospects, I started getting a lot of feedback. People telling me that I'm charging an arm and a leg. There was even a time I recall that this was actually about 4 years ago, pitching a 50K deal on a Zoom call to this financial planner. And by the way, this financial planner was doing quite well. I believe that he's, I think, a COT or TOT level. Basically, is like one of the top 5 to 1% globally. And he's basically doing well. So I basically pitch a 50K deal. And again, I'm not pitching a deal based on like just how much I'm gonna make, because I know how much I could bring that. If I could pitch a 50K deal, and I know, very well that there's a high probability that I could actually bring them $500,000 to $1 million a year, I'm actually undercharging, right? I'm still undercharging. I'm only charging 5% or 10% of what they are able to get. And so when I charged 50K, I recall I pitched this deal to him, and he got offended. He literally told me, Gabriel, who will pay 50K right now in this market environment? Right? You are a joke to be charging this amount of money. This is too expensive. And he got really offended. He started saying some really negative stuff to me. And that really led me to feel like, am I doing the right thing? Okay, I started having a lot of self-doubt. And he wasn't the only one. There was another guy who said that I was charging an arm and a leg, and just very discouraging stuff. Now, thank God, during that week, when I was thinking to myself, should I start lowering the price? Maybe 50K is too much. Maybe these people cannot afford it. And I started to wonder a lot. And that week, I had another meetup with another prospect. And so I decided just try it one more time and see how it goes, right? Because I need more data. I need to be able to have pitched maybe at least 10 people. And then from there, I can see, could I at least close 10% or 20% of them? And thankfully, I did. So I stood my ground and I went to this next pitch. And this is actually a much more seasoned client. This is a person who has been building multiple 7-figure business online. He understood the idea of online marketing, digital marketing. In fact, he has done multiple sales funnels that has generated over 8 figures before. And he was looking to outsource certain things. He got in touch with me through a friend. So we got on the call and I pitched the same thing, right? The stuff that we're doing, we're going to do a funnels for you. We're going to do a video creation for you. We're going to produce the video. We're going to write the script for you. We're going to do all this bunch of stuff, copywriting, ad creation, ad management. So basically I bundled everything so that I could charge high ticket. What came out from his mouth was something I'll never forget. So he said, okay, so you are going to include funnels. Yeah. You're going to include copywriting as well. Yeah. You're going to include video creation. Yeah. And that includes the script, that includes the production, that includes the shoot. I say yes. And then after that, you're going to run ads for us. You're going to manage the ads and so on. I say yes. So then he looked at me and he said, how do you make money? And that really shifted my entire mindset, because just a couple of calls ago, I had people who were offended that I was charging $50,000, like literally offended, criticized me and gave me really negative feedback. But just a few calls after, I have someone who asked me, how do I make money? Because the truth is that it's a lot of work. $50,000 sounds like a big amount, but the amount of stuff that you're providing is crazy. We are doing sales funnels, we are doing copywriting, we are doing videos, we are doing funnel design, we're doing funnels itself, we're planning out the entire strategy, we're creating the ad, and we are managing the ad for them. And so we were basically bundling everything as a 50K to 100K deal. And so this guy, who was much more experienced because he has launched multiple funnels before, where he knew that the cost to just hire a high-end copywriter, like one of the top copywriter, it would cost him $20,000 to $30,000, right? Just for the copywriter to write a sales letter. Not even included the videos and the funnel setup and everything else. Just to write a long-form sales letter is $20,000 to $30,000 per pop. And with a 50% success rate, that means there's a 50-50 chance that this copy or this sales letter would fail completely. So he understood the value, because just by paying one copy itself is already $20,000. And so when he looked at what we are doing and what we're providing and the kind of clients that we had, $50,000 was a small amount to him. So this was when my mindset changed. I realized that it wasn't because I was charging too much. I was not too expensive. In fact, okay, it's not that I'm expensive. It's that I was in the wrong market. I was speaking and I was prospecting people who were never going to pay in the first place. One of the biggest red flag I hear from people is whenever I hear them say things like, oh, this guy charged an arm and a leg. Anytime I hear someone that says this guy or that guy, or basically commented something about someone charging an arm and a leg, I would be very aware of this person and I'll try my best to stay away from him. That's because I never said that. I have been pitched many deals before, and because I realized that people who are successful understand value. So it's not about an arm and a leg because they're looking at the price. If I'm looking at the value, so if you're going to pitch me something at 50K, I'm going to see whether is this going to bring me a value of at least 5 to 10x, right? Is this going to bring me a value of $500,000 to $1 million? Because if you are charging me something at 50K and I can see very clearly that this is going to give me at least $1 million in profit, then what is $50,000? $50,000 is a small price to pay for a $500,000 or $1 million profit. So what I'm looking at is the value I'm getting, not the price. And what I realized is that a lot of so-called self-employed entrepreneurial people who has a poor mindset, even people who are entrepreneurs have poor mindset. And I realized that many of them, they look at the price, right? They see something that's too expensive and they go, oh, no, this is an arm and leg, this is too expensive. But they forget to look at the value. This is what I realized over the years, that I want to hang out with people who see value, not people who just see the price. I'm very wary of people who say an arm and a leg, okay? Because of the negative feedback I had. What's my point here? My point here is that there's never such thing as you are too expensive. Of course, granted that you have to make sure that if you're charging a premium, you are actually providing value, right? So you're not coming out on the first day, like what I said, you're not coming out on the first day with no portfolio, no nothing, and you're expecting people to pay you 50K and to trust you right away. Okay, we had spent time to build a very strong portfolio. We have spent time to build a portfolio of people doing 7 figures and even 8 figures. And that's why today I'm so confident that if I charge you 50K to 100K, okay, that you're going to get a return on your investment because of the kind of result and portfolio that we have done. So the lesson here is that there are different market segments. There are some markets that want cheap, and there are some markets that see value instead of price. I made the same pitch, but one market say I was charging an arm and a leg and it was offended. Another market say, how do I make money? So don't compromise price for the low budget market. Target those that recognize your worth. Make sure that you gain value for yourself first. Make sure that you have built up a strong portfolio and then start charging a premium. Okay. The other thing about charging a premium is this. Charging a premium isn't about just making profit for yourself. I truly believe that if you were to focus on your customer and you really want the best for your customer, you have to charge premium. And the reason is very simple. If you were to charge cheap, you would have a less profit margin. Now, unless you are some operational expert and you're able to really have amazing operation experience that you can lower your cost of managing your labor costs very well. Usually for service business, it's really very hard. But I noticed that whenever I hire companies, I've also done external hiring or external outsourcing where I outsource other agency. I realized that, the quality of people that I get whenever I hire them at a cheap price, I tend to get lousy quality. You really get what you pay for. And so I realized that if I really want to give my very best for my customer, my very best for my clients, a lot of times, right, I'm charging a higher amount, not just because I can filter the right people. Okay. Now, once again, price is also a good filtering because price is a good filter process to bring in a better quality people. When I started bringing in people who are 50K to 100K, these are amazing people to serve, right? They respect me, they talk to me properly, they don't over-expect, they understood the value that we were providing, and as long as we are able to get result for them, they don't even make a noise, right? They just pay us every single month. I have clients that are with me for 3 years, and I hardly even meet up with them. I only meet up with them I think I can count by my hand less than 5 times, and they don't even want to meet because it's like, if I'm giving them result, I'm giving them leads. They don't want to waste time meeting, right? They want to spend more time with their family. They want to spend more time meeting their clients. Those are amazing clients to work with. So price isn't just about filtering, okay? Although that's one of the benefits. The other thing is because if I want the best for my customer, I have to charge premium so that I'm more profitable. And so that if I'm more profitable, I could actually invest a percentage of the money, of their profits, to innovate more stuff. And that's one of the reasons why we have high retention. Over the last 3 to 4 years, we have clients that are paying us 5K to 10,000 a month, and they are still paying us 3 years later, 4 years later. Why? Because we are constantly innovating. Right? We are in the forefront of the market. We are investing into a lot of different things. We are trying out different softwares, and a lot of times, many of these softwares are really expensive stuff. We're talking about like 5 figures or even 6 figures, and we have no guarantee whether this stuff is going to help our clients. But we are willing to invest in those to optimize our clients' project. These are the things that we do on the back end. Sometimes our clients don't even know. But that's what keeps us ahead of the market, where we have other agencies that are not willing to spend because, number one, because first of all, they're charging really cheap. And because they're charging cheap, they have very little profit margin, and therefore they are less likely willing to invest into resources, invest into infrastructure to better serve their customer. And for us, we're willing to spend simply because we have more margin. And because we have more margin, we're willing to let go a percentage of our margin, a percentage of our profit to innovate and to serve our customer better. So charging premium isn't about just having more margin so that you can buy a Lamborghini, but having more margin so that you could reinvest into research and development, into innovation to better serve your customer. Just a quick summary here, you have to go high ticket if you're in the service business because that's the only way for you to maximize your value for your time. The second thing is that when you start charging high ticket, you're going to get some pushback. You're going to get people who tell you negative stuff. You're going to get people who tell you that you are charging an arm and a leg and they're offended by it. But stand your ground. If you know your value, stand your ground. It's not that you're expensive, you're just in the wrong market. And lastly, charging more money and more profit will allow you to stay in the market longer, will allow you to become more competitive simply because you have more margins and more profit to reinvest in innovation to better serve your customers. So I hope you have gained value from this video so far, and if you have, please help me to like and subscribe to this channel because that will really help the YouTube algorithm push our video out to more people, and that will actually encourage me to do more videos like this. The other thing is, let me know what is your biggest takeaway in the comment section below. I read every single one of the comments, so let me know what is your biggest takeaway and what you can actually use for your business. So that's all I have for you guys today. Bye for now.